In this study conducted at the University of Iowa, participants were made to play a simple card game. They had to flip over cards from any 4 decks. Good cards carried cash rewards and bad cards carried penalties. The aim was to flip over as many good cards as possible, but what the players weren't told is that the decks were actually rigged. 2 of them led to considerably greater gains, while the other 2 led to losses. But they were rigged so subtly that the players had no way of working this out. In addition, their hands were wired to a machine that measures micro-sweating, thought to indicate subconscious emotions that they weren't aware of. So as the participants played the game, the researchers found something fascinating. For many of the players, every time their hands went towards one of the bad decks, they started sweating significantly more. Their minds couldn't tell at the time what was wrong, but their bodies felt that something was wrong, and this directed their decision making. Astonishingly, their bodies were very precise. Their physiological response was telling them quite consistently that 2 of these decks were bad choices and to stay away. But this happened way before they could suspect or articulate it consciously. They just had a gut feeling, in other words, that something was off. Everyone's familiar with gut feelings, but this study is one of the first which showed a biological correlate. Now let's look at a different study. Sometimes when you're in a new environment or you meet someone new, you might get an instinctively bad feeling or what we call negative vibes. One of the reasons for this might be that you're picking up visual stimuli that you're not even registering consciously. Research done at Columbia University showed that we can react to emotive stimuli that last even a fraction of a second. In this study, participants were shown faces with fearful expressions, but they were flashed these images so quickly, 33 milliseconds to be exact, that it was too fast for them to register consciously. But that didn't stop their amygdala from picking it up and then reacting with anxiety. So even stimuli that last as little as 33 milliseconds can elicit a fear response. This would have been extremely important for primitive man, who when confronted with strangers would have to work out what mood they were in and what they wanted very quickly in order to survive. It also means that in day-to-day interactions, we're picking up stimuli all the time that we're not consciously aware of. So you can see that you have an intelligence inside you that's operating on another level to conscious intelligence. But most people are so fixated on rational thinking that it's difficult to pick up what the intuitive faculties are trying to say. That doesn't mean they're switched off, it just means perhaps that you've stopped listening. Other threats to intuitive guidance seem to be the fixation with technology and the distraction that can bring. There are regions in our brain that are associated with picking up bodily signals. You could say these areas correspond to our intuitive capabilities. A 2005 study showed that with practices such as meditation, these regions actually increase in grey matter. In other words, we become more in tune with what the physiological system is trying to tell us. So the message is clear. If you need more intuitive guidance, learn to stop listening to unnecessary chatter in the mind, turn off distractions for some time, and try to get in touch with what your body is trying to say. It's always saying something. But it also has another advantage. According to studies, this type of decision making is not only effective or accurate, but leads to happier decisions as well. A study looked at consumers about to purchase cars. This study showed that those who did a detailed, rational analysis, carefully weighing up each and every option, were only happy with their purchase in 25% of cases, whereas those who simply made a quick gut decision were happy 60% of the time with their purchases. So, to summarize, intuition can simply tell us what the best course of action is in any given moment, but it takes some practice to listen to it. Switching off stimuli and not being carried away by the thought patterns or emotions is the key to tune in to our intuitive guidance. And number 4, there's evidence that it leads to happier decisions.